Hey guys, sorry this necklace. I'm sorry I haven't made a video in 2 days. I've been really busy because my mom went away to see her friends because they're all turning a certain age this year and they all wanted to celebrate their birthday. Um, and so my dad has been alone, and since I'm the oldest, I had to help him around with me and Tilly had to help him around with taking care of Max and helping him make the snacks and stuff for school and lunches. Because my mom usually does it. And yeah. And then this morning I had my ICs because I had to take the ICs test. Um, but yeah, and I'm all dressed up because I'm going to a piano recital. So I'll do a quick outfit of the day. So on my shirt, I am wearing this shirt, and it's lace, and it came with a necklace, but I don't know where it went. Just a really nice lace, and then over it, I'm wearing this splendid sweater, and it has gray and black stripes. Then this skirt I got at a store. I'm not saying where because I don't know if it's a chain or not. Then I'm getting these. I have these leggings that say love on the side, and yeah, I'm also going to wear my Uggs. And I'm wearing a necklace, but it says where we went on the school trip. I don't really want you guys to know. So yeah. Okay, now one thing about my channel, I don't know where all my friends went, like my friend list of all my friends. I don't know if this is happening to everybody of their new setup, but I didn't click anything that I know of. I don't know, I just can't find them, and I like to check some of them for new videos sometimes. And then I have to type in their name, which is kind of annoying. But I don't know, and I can't get them back. So if you guys could help me, then that would be cool. Okay, so I'm gonna be reading this. I'm gonna be reading 2 of these. Now, last video I said I'd be reading 4 of those. I promised twice and I broke both my promises, so I'm not going to continue promising. But this time I literally promise I will do 2 in a row. Okay, we're on page 39, chapter 4, a message for the winds. Depends how long this chapter is. I didn't really plan it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is good. So I'll read this whole chapter. Okay, so let's get started. Sorry for a really long intro. After her experience with Amber and Veronica, Cass had vowed never to discuss her predictions with anyone again, but she made an exception for Max Ernest because he seemed so knowledgeable about toxic waste. By the time they returned to the soccer field with the laboratory gloves, Cass had told them all about the dead magician, the dead mouse, and the mysterious sulfur smell. Max Ernest scrunched his nose. "It doesn't smell like rotten eggs to me. Are you sure it's the same smell?" He suggested that they take out the vial from the Symphony of Smells and compare it to the scent in the soccer field. Cass was slightly annoyed that she hadn't thought of this herself. Nonetheless, she pulled the wooden box out of her backpack to show him. Footnote: Why was the Symphony of Smells in her backpack and not in the shop where it belonged? I'm afraid I can't explain without putting Cass in a rather negative light. But hypothetically, would it be such a bad thing to take it if she really thought she was saving lives? When she opened the small dusty vial and took a whiff, she had to agree it didn't smell much like the soccer field. Perhaps she had jumped to conclusions too quickly. Max Ernest put his face to the ground and sniffed. "I think the grass smells more like you know what." "No, what?" "You know, number 2, said Max Ernest, turning red. Cass rolled her eyes, but when she sniffed the ground herself, she had to agree he was right. Then she noticed something she hadn't seen earlier. Only 3 feet from the mouse there was a pile of fertilizer. What they were smelling was manure. And there was something else, a box with a picture of a rat inside a red circle with a slash through it. Rat poison. That's what had killed the mouse. She decided it wasn't necessary to point this out to Max Ernest. If he noticed it himself, fine. If he didn't, no sense making him cocky. Anyway, it didn't mean there wasn't toxic waste. Not necessarily. Meanwhile, Max Ernest had begun inspecting the Symphony of Smells more closely. "Did you see that the back comes off?" he asked. Cass hadn't noticed, but she didn't say so. She wasn't sure how many more of Max Ernest's discoveries she could take. Max Ernest pulled a velvet panel away from the inside of the box's lid, and a bunch of papers slid out onto the ground. Cass started looking through them. Beethoven, Mozart, Franz Liszt. "Who's that?" Beethoven and Mozart are classical music composers, like from a long time ago, said Max Ernest. Maybe Franz Liszt, too. I know who Beethoven and Mozart are, I just don't know who Liszt was. Anyway, these look like recipes. See? Symphony number 9, juniper, chocolate, allspice, sonata number 12, mint, rosemary, lavender. I guess they're like small versions of music, like scratch and sniff. I seriously doubt that. How could there be a small version of music? Asked Max Ernest, who was, as you know, always very logical. Music is made of sound. I know, it doesn't mean it's really music. It's just a cool idea. Like, I don't know, elves and orcs. Here, look. She held up a hand-drawn chart and started reading aloud. First violin, ginger, viola, maple, cello, vanilla. It's an orchestra? Right, the symphony of smells. Here's oboe. That's what I play. It's licorice. Huh, said Max Ernest, turning over the oboe licorice connection in his head. Why do you think it's licorice? Do you like licorice? It has this picture. It says kettle drum orange. So that's what this one is right here. No, the one right there, right over there, this one. And then mandolin rose, this one. Saxophone banana, this. And then xylophone fish. Not the black kind, but I don't really like oboe either. I still don't see how a smell is supposed to be music, said Max Ernest. Maybe we should play one, said Cass, pointing to the sheet of music. Or smell it, I mean. Using the chart to locate their musical instruments, they tried smelling Beethoven, then Mozart, then a symphony by Franz Liszt. All the music smelled good, except for Liszt, but eventually Cass had to admit she couldn't tell what was especially musical about it. As they put the music back in the case, a tattered piece of paper fell out and started blowing around in the breeze. Cass caught the paper just before it landed in the manure. It was smudged and wrinkled and singed around the edges, but she could still make out the words written on it. A message for the winds, she read aloud. In order to spell it, you must first smell it. Below this note, the names of 4 instruments had been written, one beneath the other: clarinet, flute, oboe, and bassoon. You think it's some kind of coded message, Cass asked. Max Ernest nodded. Definitely, you can tell by the instructions. I'll bet all we have to do is turn the instruments into smells. Using the chart, they wrote the name of the matching scent next to each instrument name, and this is what they came up with: heliotrope, echinacea, licorice, and peanut butter. Excited, they took the appropriate vials out of the case and smelled them in order. Then they looked at each other expectantly, as if they just cast a spell and they were waiting for a ghost or a vision to appear. Nothing happened. They tried smelling all the scents at once, but that only served to confuse their noses further. I guess our noses aren't strong enough, said Max Ernest. Or maybe it wasn't really a coded message after all, said Cass, putting the paper back into the box. Max Ernest pulled the paper back out, staring at it. You know how it says, first smell it, he asked. Uh-huh. Well, look at the first letters. Heliotrope, echinacea, licorice, peanut butter. H-E-L-P. It spells help. Oh my gosh, I'm not very good at reading today. You're right, said Cass, impressed despite herself, but you got one thing wrong. What? It doesn't spell help, it smells help. Max Ernest laughed. Then it was his turn to be annoyed. Why was it funny when she made a joke? Hey, Max Ernest, said Cass suddenly. Yeah? What if it's real? What do you mean? The message. Do you think it's from the magician? Look at the edge of the paper. It looks like it was in a fire. What if he really wanted help? Their eyes locked, the very same chill tingling both their spines. Well, it wouldn't be the best way to get help, would it? asked Max Ernest a little more slowly than usual. I mean, he could have just called someone, like the police or the fire department. But I guess maybe if he didn't want everyone to know, like if it was only for one certain person. Whoever it was for, we're the ones who read it, Cass pointed out. This means we have to help him. But he's dead. Not for sure. That's true, said Max Ernest, considering. And even if he is, I guess it might be good to find out. Shh! Cass put her fingers to her lips, stopping him mid-sentence. Look at Benjamin Blake. A pale boy with big staring eyes, Benjamin Blake, stood downwind of them, nose in the air, concentrating hard. You think he's smelling the licorice or the peanut butter, whispered Cass. How could you tell? Max Ernest whispered back. I don't know. How could you tell anything about Benjamin Blake? Benjamin Blake was a continual source of confusion to Cass, indeed to all his classmates. If they'd included him in their ratings, they might have rated him spaciest or weirdest. What was weirdest of all was how grown-ups fawned on him. Benjamin had recently won a big art prize. None of the other students could believe it. Judging by the artwork hanging in the school hallway, he couldn't even draw a straight line. Nonetheless, there was a picture of him in the newspaper, and Mrs. Johnson had made an announcement over the PA as if the prize were some huge historical event. Benjamin got to paint a mural in the town's city hall, and he even got to go to Washington, D.C. for an award ceremony. After that, all his teachers treated him like he was a movie star or he'd been elected president. When Benjamin realized Cass and Max Ernest were looking at him, he blushed and mumbled something under his breath. What did he say? Asked Cass. Something about a herd of buffalo? I think he said he heard an oboe, said Max Ernest. You're joking, right? Max Ernest shook his head. No. That's weird. He must have been spying when we read the list. I can't believe someone so spacey could be so nosy. For a second, it looked like Benjamin wanted to say something more, but when Cass slammed shut the Symphony of Smells case, he turned and walked away. That is the end of chapter 4. It's pretty short, actually, for me to read anyway, so stay tuned for chapter 5, and chapter 5 might be in 2 parts. I will see. Okay, bye!